99% of handballs are not deliberate anyway. All go back to the old way when you said handball is for a deliberate
handball.
I think that one would make it better. I think so.
I think because if you're a winger coming up against your fullback and the fullback's got his arms there, you just scoop it up against his arm and say, that's handball. So they've got to look at it, and they've got to have a serious look at it, because VAR...
Well, they're bringing in
so
slight
many
changes next season. They're making it clearer if you make your body bigger. That's not actually necessarily... They're kind of interpreting it a little bit that way, but they're bringing that law in. I think maybe on June the 1st, which is the day of the Champions League final.
That's a good idea.
That's a good game for a guinea pig experiment, isn't it? But anyway, let's have a look at the penalty, because there was talk about encroachment as well, and if they made him retake it, I don't know what would happen at this stadium, but... It was minimal encroachment.
From the side angle there, if you look at the linesman and obviously the referee's blocked everyone from stepping in the box before, and he's not done his job, so he's actually looking across the line at Vertonghen, and then he's letting him run into the box. If you see here, so he's telling him to get out of the box.
He tells him to stay off. Then obviously he is marginally in when he hits it, but I don't think I've ever seen a penalty where there's no one in the box.
Lloris moves as well. He comes off his line before the ball's hit.
Well, the fact that his job is to look at it.
See the linesman here. Why don't we put the linesman on the edge of the 18-yard box so he can deal with encroachment, and the referee then goes along. He's going to be able to see whether the goalkeeper moves.
Or we could do a really long rope and just keep everyone behind the rope.
But this is where it's going, though. He's actually becoming a farce.
It's getting silly. That's what I mean. It's getting silly.
If you put the linesman onto the 18-yard box, he looks after the goalkeeper moving.
It's hard for the ref to do everything.
And he looks after, because they're both at the moment looking if the goalkeeper's going to move. And if it is that important, get somebody on that line.
Yeah, we'll talk to Peter now once again. By the letter of the law, obviously, it should have been retaken, but then we'd retake pretty much every penalty, I suppose, until people stop doing it.
Okay.
Peter?
No, the point I'm trying to make here is the fact that Vertonghen, who went into the area, is the guy who clears the ball. And under VAR protocol, that could and should have been looked at. So it's Vertonghen who actually got the advantage by being where he was. If you see the play now, as the goalkeeper makes the save, it's Vertonghen who clears the ball. And the law clearly says, if he becomes directly involved, then it's a VAR issue.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I wouldn't disagree. We won't go down on the topic of the other one again, because I think we did that.
Can I ask Peter a question?
Yeah, of course you can.
So if it comes off the goalkeeper and there's an attacker that's encroached in the penalty area and he sticks it in the net, is it disallowed?
Yeah,
correct.
Of course.
Okay, good.
Because he's become directly involved.
Yeah. Peter, what about... There was a couple of other incidents with Fernandinho elbowed Harry Kane in the head, etc. Why has that not come under VAR?
Yeah.
Well, that one, the referee saw it because he spoke to both players, so it wasn't a missed opportunity, and it wasn't clear and obvious in terms of what Fernandinho did. You could say that's very subjective, and the VAR allowed the referee's decision on the pit field to stand.
Peter, could you describe to me what clear and obvious means? I'm not joking, I'm serious. What does clear and obvious mean? Does it mean an absolute howler? Or does it mean maybe 60% of us think it was the right decision? What does it mean?
No, I can't give percentages there, Gary.
Yeah.
What I will say is that if you had a crowd full of people there and pretty much everybody said that's clear and obvious, it's clear and obvious. Don't forget, VAR
therefore, I'll say to you, do you still think the whole crowd here would have thought that was a penalty for the handball when he was blasted at him from a yard away?
Well, not where we are, no, because the whole crowd was Tottenham Hotspurs, but you can see.
Well, there were a few City fans there as well.
Yeah, okay. But I would say that again, VAR for handball is slightly different because of the interpretation being put on the law.
Do you think they should make that clear though, and say to everyone, this is the law with handball. It's not about clear and obvious or anything like that. It's about our interpretation, and if your arm's anywhere away from your body, then that is a penalty. Make it clear so everyone understands.
Look, in fairness to Roberto Rossetti, he said that actual words in January to the broadcasters, the medias, and it's our job to get it out to the public to let them realise
that's for next season, isn't it? That's when they bring in the laws for June. Am I correct?
The law will be amended on 1st of June, and as you quite rightly say, it falls on a big day in the footballing programme, but it's the 1st of June.
Yeah, OK. Well, Peter, thanks very much for your involvement and helping to clear things up for us.
We cleared it up, by the way.
There's
so much confusion around all of these rules.
Oh, come on, Rio, it's clear and obvious.
Oh, mate, it's unbelievable.
Right, Harry Kane again, and it looks like another ankle injury. I don't know, it's his...
He knew immediately. As soon as he went down, you could see. I mean, Fabian wasn't happy with the way he came in on him, but he's hurt himself. I don't think Harry even needs to go in there. Fabian's going back to goal. it was a silly challenge in the end, but he looks like immediately there, I need to go down the tunnel, I'm hurt. And Fabian, as you can see, wasn't too...
Rubbing salt in the wound there. I'm sure he didn't realise that Harry Kane was seriously injured at that point. One of those things, heated moments of the game, but Pochettino reacts, of course, to Delph giving him an earful, which is understandable, because I don't think either player went into to foul. No. Just one of those things that's happened, and I think we saw them at the end of the game kind of kiss and make up. So, but it's a real shame for Tottenham again, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it's a shame for Harry Kane.
Yeah,
obviously.
Of course it is.
It's the same ankle again, and I don't know whether it's the left. That was the left ankle.
It was the left.
Last time I think it was the right.
It was the left before, I'm being told.
Yeah, so there's obviously a weakness there, and it's a big worry for Tottenham. It really
well,
is.
It's if it's the same as before, I mean, I don't want to speculate on the gravity of someone's injury, but if it might do him good actually now, wouldn't, to have a proper break, maybe get it. I mean, I don't know how these things, how weaknesses occur. I'm not a medical man, but. Yeah.
But it gives him a chance to get it absolutely spot on before he goes back playing again.
It doesn't necessarily weaken Spurs, because when he missed the weeks prior to this...
But it has to weaken Spurs, though, doesn't it?
I think in the grand scheme of it, it's a disappointment for Harry Kane and to see a player like that get injured, but they don't seem to miss him as much as we would have thought before they missed him last time.
Hurt Spurs from the bench.
Yeah.
So because if Moura and Son, there's a bit of pace there now, and in the second leg, they're going to need a bit of pace. But I think from the bench, having them coming on, if Kane was playing, that's where it's...
OK, we need to take a little breather. We'll have more reaction.
I think in the action both were very, very strong in the action, but both didn't have the intention to make damage to the another. That is why Harry in that moment was trying to talk with him, but he was very upset because believing that was an action so aggressive for Harry Kane. But when you watch on the TV, you realize that both were fighting for the ball and no intention to damage each other.
Oh, Reshman's voice is deep these days, isn't it? I think it was a Reshman Kelly Owdry. Anyway, Pochettino, he's kind of saying, I don't know what he meant by possible red card for Delph. But.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think obviously Delph had something to say after the actual initial tackle, but listen, that's part of the game, and I think he's obviously, he sounds very dejected and disappointed with Harry having to go off, and rightly so, because he's main goal scorer. But I think he's playing down the result too, because obviously he knows there's a second leg to come. But